Hello, everyone. Hope we're having a good Yu-Gi-Oh! Tuesday. I hope we're having a good time. It's Tuesday. Everyone loves Tuesday. Oh, we're gonna watch Duke Devlin. Everyone loves Duke Devlin, right? Everyone loves Duke Devlin. He's not a fucking dick that they just completely rehabilitate. He's worse in the anime than he is in the manga. But that's because they remove like the impetus for why he is the way he is. You will see it in a bit here, but they completely remove his father, Mr. Clown. Why did they remove his father, Mr. Clown? Yu-Gi-Oh! Tuesday. I don't know. I've been busy with shit, so my head's all over the place. Trying to get shit done for stream this Thursday, the sumo stream. The way I'm doing it now requires a lot of setup, and so I've been working hard to get that done. And then I realized that I didn't have the podcast ready last night, so I had to get that done like really quick. I got it out in time, but only because my computer ran overnight to upload that thing. It takes so long to upload shit to YouTube these days. That hour-and-a-half video took like 3.5 or 2.5 hours to upload. Very strange. And I've also been working on getting a script done for another video essay after, finishing the editing for the last video essay, which will be up on Friday for those who aren't patrons. If you're a patron, you can already watch it. If you're a patron, you're already able to watch it. But if you don't want to pay the measly $1 a month to get access to the Patreon, you can see it on Friday. I think that's everything, pretty much. I also did a lot of grocery shopping this weekend. Went to Asian grocery stores for a day and then went to normal grocery stores the next day. So head's kind of all over the place. But we're going to watch some Yu-Gi-Oh! How about that? Yu-Gi-Oh! How about that? Tomorrow. Today. All right. Let's go. Take off my hat. Instead of just waving it, they gave him permission to work to pay his fee. Fuck, dude. Grim. It would be absurd for him to get completely outclassed like that, considering how much he's improved and how this guy doesn't play dual mon. What are they talking about? Oh no, Joey attacked with a monster and got a trap card activated on him. What a dumbass. What was he supposed to do? Just sit there and do nothing? And they let you choose the order, because if you had to choose them randomly, it would be even worse. Even he's like, actually, this isn't fun at all. Actually, wait, this is... You actually suck at this game I didn't tell you the rules for. What the fuck? Means is he moves his lizard into a position to use the magic crest that he has to activate the effect of the monster. Doesn't he have movement crests? He's been rolling so many crests. Why wouldn't he have movement crests so he could just... I didn't know anything about that. This is the fucking... Wait, they just recreated the fucking Infinity War scene. Or what is Endgame scene, where it's like, you took everything from me. I don't even know you, dude. Fucking hate this, dude. Why did they change his motivation? The same painting with Pegasus. They just changed who's who. Bad game, but at least it's a okay story. Still has some things that make me like, but All right, we've done 2 episodes. Time for a BRB. We'll be back in a sec. See you in a sec.
King Kong versus Godzilla. Nothing you've ever seen can equal the thrills of this extraordinary motion picture. Nothing you've ever felt can equal its awesome fury as the mightiest monsters of the ages clash in a battle of the century. It sears the emotions with shock and terror. It staggers the imagination. All new in color. King Kong versus Godzilla.
Like, why did... I hate to keep harping on this. Why did they change the interesting motivation of Duke Devlin kind of being forced into this by his dad who wants the Millennium Puzzle into Duke Devlin's a fucking moron who got tricked by Pegasus? Why did they... that one bomb guy gets to destroy a monster... a level 2 monster specifically. For 3 crests, this guy can destroy whatever the fuck he wants. So it sucks so much. How dare he use both? You have to get both. They're level 3 monster or level 3s, so they only have 2 crests, I think, total. You have to summon both of them in 2 different places where it'd be advantageous to have the warp there. And the opponent can use them too. So in Duke Devlin's position, especially, it's definitely devil bad because he's just creating a way by which there's not a single frame animation and all that, but you know. All right. Last one. Last episode of season 1 and last episode of Duke Devlin's Dice Monster Extraordinaire. Let's go. The reason why they inserted Pegasus into this and got rid of Mr. Clown is it specifically to have a in-lore reason why Dark Magician is in the fucking game for Yugi to use Dark Magician to win the fucking game. Oh my god, I feel That's gotta be it, right? I'm realizing this now. That's the entire reason they did this change. Was to put fucking Dark Magician in the goddamn game. Oh, that makes me so mad. That makes me so mad. Wow. Effects? Effects from Duel Monsters? The Dark Magician effects? The effects it has as in Duel Monsters? The Dark Magician? The normal monster? Like, those are other cards. What are you talking about? I didn't inspect all the new monsters in my game. I'm sorry. The anime version of this duel is just so much worse than the manga version in so many fucking ways. And now he's magically learned a lesson about not being a fucking freak jerk. Unlike in the main manga where he learned, he had a fucking abusive father and learned to stand up to him instead. But wait, Yugi owns a controlling share of Industrial Illusions now. Yeah, exactly. Doesn't Yugi run the company? What are we doing here? Maybe Yugi left Pegasus as the CEO. Like, he has controlling shares, but he left Pegasus as the CEO. So, because they changed this, they have to change, because they still have to do the thing where Mr. Clown steals the Millennium Puzzle and Yugi has to fight for it, and then Joey rescues him from a burning building. They still have to do that part. But because they removed Mr. Clown from the show, they have to do something completely different that makes no goddamn sense. Technically build to Battle City better, maybe you could consider that. I mean, like, the thing is, the Duke Devlin, but neither was the other one, so whatever. Well, that's over at least. No more Duke Devlin. No more Duke Devlin. Well, he'll come back, but no more of that arc, I guess, is more accurate. All right, we're going to take another quick ad break, and then we'll be back to watch Douglas Zeef talk about Genesis format. See you in a sec.
On a June night in 1980, Friday the 13th, 12 counselors at Camp Crystal Lake were murdered. Why should Friday the 13th, 1981 be any different? The terror continues. Friday the 13th, Part 2, from Paramount Pictures, rated R, under 17, not admitted without parent.
All right, folks, it's time. It's time to go on youtube.com. As always, a reminder to subscribe to the Batchoos Library. We're almost caught up on the Yu-Gi-Oh! Card reacts. So make sure you subscribe for more of them. We're going to watch a Doug Zeef video. Because Douglas Zeef made a video about Genesis format. And I want to know what Konami employee Douglas Zeef has to say about Genesis format. Let's find out.
Did you know that they print physical Master Duel cards? It's true. As some of you know, I haven't played competitive paper Yu-Gi-Oh! In a couple of years. However, over the past month, I've been going to some Genesis events, Konami's alternative format, and I actually really like it. Genesis format is unique because instead of having bans or
he likes the Konami product. Go figure. No, I'm kidding. Genesis format's fun.
or limits, you just have point values assigned.
I wish I had a locals that did Genesis format, though. Holy shit, dude. This is the big problem with Genesis format, is that I think one of the biggest problems with Genesis format is that no locals want to run it. I mean, maybe if there was more interest in it because the format was better, locals might run it. But even then, I don't know that a lot of them would. It just doesn't feel real enough to them for some reason. I don't know.
2 different cards. You can only play 100 points in your deck, but that means that every card is technically...
Like for a game like Yu-Gi-Oh! That's not Magic the Gathering, or maybe Pokemon. I don't know how many formats Pokemon has, but for a game like Yu-Gi-Oh! Where there's like just not as much interest, because it's not Magic the Gathering, and also there's just like, we're not as into alternate formats as a community, it is really hard to get a store willing to not only run, the main tournaments, but then run a second tournament of a less popular format. Like, it's tough. It's tough to get stores on board.
Legal if you're willing to pay a price. The other change is that they don't have Pendulum or Link monsters. It's a Yugi boomer's dream. I've played in a couple locals. I went to a regional and won a side event, huge premier top. So I wanted to go over my deck profile today and then kind of talk about my thoughts
just
on
a deck
the format.
profile?
Like we used to do in 2019. The number one thing that gets clowned on a lot is the tagline of yesterday's gameplay, but today's cards. No one seems to know what that means because yesterday is pretty broad. Are we talking about 2020? Are we talking about 2015? Are we talking about 2010? In my opinion, I would say that it feels most like 2019 through 2021. I will say across the board.
No? Like, it doesn't exactly feel like modern format, but it doesn't feel like that either. Like, it feels like... It feels like a format that never existed. Because modern card design is really hard to fit into yesterday's gameplay as a concept. Because the cards are just designed differently, right? So if modern cards are playable to a decent extent, which they are in the current way Genesis format is constructed, it's not going to feel like yesterday's gameplay, right? Because that's the way the cards function. Radiant Typhoon does not play like yesterday's gameplay. I'm sorry.
That most of the games that I have played in Genesis format have
Cool
been
Toon certainly
incredibly
doesn't.
back and forth, which I really do like. I also like
Yes, I think Genesis is a more back and forth format. There's less floodgates. There's less feel bad moments in general. There's still plenty of feel bad moments. But I don't think that makes it yesterday's gameplay, if that makes any sense. I think yesterday's gameplay was a terrible tagline if they were going to allow modern cards modern decks to exist with minor points instead of completely like obliterating them to only be run as packages. Right?
that it feels like people are playing all
that they never should have run. And there's a reason why they scrubbed it.
Decks. There are still standout meta strategies, of course. You're always going to have that. Cool Toon probably
always
need more points. Magnet Warriors definitely need more points. But
Magnet Warriors is an interesting one.
Overall, I really have enjoyed the matches that I've played. I also want to say that I really like how deck building works in this format. I actually was quite surprised at how much I enjoy building decks for Genesis. Every single point matters. It's not about just finding the best cards available and then putting 3 copies in your deck. It's about finding the best cards available for the points that you have left. I really enjoy the aspect of having to evaluate the opportunity cost when it comes to the points. You know, maybe you have a good card that's at 10 points and you want to play 2 or 3 of it. You know, that's a lot of points. You could just play like 4.
It's a cool deck. As we discussed last time with the LC video, Genesis format's best aspect is that it's a really cool deck building challenge.
Or 5-point cards instead of 2 10-point cards, and that is a big decision. Now, I'm not going to pretend like deck building in the TCG is like easy or anything. I don't want to oversimplify it, but this is like a completely new way of building, and I enjoyed it quite a bit. Now, I do want to say that most of my complaints are related to the points. I think most of the cards are where they should be, but the outliers are really obvious. They're trying to fix this card by card, but you can definitely tell when looking at some point values that they were working on this format for several years. Why
DZ explaining the concept of math to his audience. I mean, considering
were
you probably
archetypes
should.
like Gladiator Beasts and Ninja and Sword Soul pointed so high on release, especially compared to newer, better archetypes. I'm not sure those decks would see play even if they had almost no points, so I don't know why they're pointed so much higher than even some modern archetypes.
I have a feeling I should really have the closed captions on.
Tune, for example, is 66 points.
Even if they're
which is
auto-generated,
about the same
I should have
amount
them
as
on.
a Sword Soul engine. What are we talking about? How does that make sense?
It's so fucking insane. It's so fucking insane that shit like Crystron and Sword Soul are pointed as much as Cool Tune.
Another example is that Book of Eclipse is 3 points, but Book of Moon is 4 points? What? Like, Book of Moon is never gonna see play at 4 points. It's just not gonna happen.
I don't know about that.
Why would you ever play Book of Moon over Book of Eclipse if Book of Eclipse is 1 less point? That actually makes a pretty
Because Book of Moon works better for some strategies than Book of Eclipse does.
big difference, because it means a playset of Eclipse is 9 points while a playset of Book of Moon is 12 points, which is just like, yeah, way too much. You can also see this with cards like Forbidden Lance. Why is Forbidden Lance 3 points? Are we crazy? I just feel like there's so many cards that could be toned down in their point values and it wouldn't really ruin the format. The pessimistic view is that they always want you to play the newest cards, but they have been pre-pointing things. You know, we
Only certain
didn't have
things.
to deal with like 0 point the Fallen and the Virtuous for a while, but there
I think Fallen of the Virtuous would have been mostly fine, honestly. I feel like Fallen of the Virtuous could have been fucking fine. They did not have to go as hard on that as they did, but then they didn't hit Cool Tune as hard as they should have. Like, I don't...
are undeniably cards
Because they knew that Fallen of the Virtuous was going to see play in Advanced where you would buy it there instead. Like, they can pre-hit the stuff that they know you're going to buy for Advanced, but they don't pre-hit the stuff that you would only buy for Genesis format, right? Like, does that make any sense?
that are newer that should be higher points, and they aren't for seemingly no reason. A great example is Illusion Gate, which you'll see in my list. It's
Now, Illusion Gate's a strange one because Illusion Gate can see play in Advanced format as well. I think it is seeing a little bit of play in Advanced, if I'm remembering correctly. So I don't know why they haven't pointed this one. I fucking insane.
Regeki plus Monster Reborn, but it's 0 points. Regeki is worth 4 points. Monster Reborn, for some ridiculous reason, is also worth 4 points.
Yeah, Monster Reborn should probably be, if not free, then 1 point, right?
So when you combine those two, how do you get a card that's worth 0? Now, I think that Illusion Gate will almost certainly be pointed on the next list. Maybe it'll be like 6 or...
Don't say it.
I just realized it's 7, maybe it's 6 or 7. You know how it goes. But I think it probably could be around there, and that would make a lot more sense. I think it would even still see play. It's an incredibly strong board breaker. But there are a number of examples of these types of situations on the points list, and I really just don't want the format to be like TCG light. If Cool Tune is seeing a ton of play in the TCG, I don't want to play against it in Genesis format. So I want them to put higher point values on newer decks in a way where, like, maybe they're still playable to some degree if you use all of your points on their engine.
Oh my god, 100% correct. That's exactly how it should be. New decks that have just come out should basically be pointed so that their engine is 100 points. Like their main engine is 100 points. And maybe it's like because of the way it's pointed, they can only run like one-ofs of some of the cards, right? That's exactly what I think.
Cards, but I don't think it's fair when you can build a Cool Tune deck and the engine is 66 points and you have all those points left over for tech cards and hand traps and stuff like that. Magnet Warriors are an even crazier example where no magnet cards are pointed at all. Naturia Beast and Gallant Granite are, but it's just like a huge oversight.
It's crazy. It was crazy that was the way it was.
To not hit any of the Magnet Warrior cards.
It is actually kind of crazy that the Magnet Warriors aren't hit at all.
And I think that going forward, they probably will hit more of them. I believe the only main deck pointed card for them is like Koakimiru Guardian. But please, please point some of those Magnet Warriors. I like that deck a lot. I am building that deck in Genesis, but even I can admit that the cards need to be pointed. I just hope that over the next few adjustments, they spend a lot of time looking at the lower play rate cards that are pointed so that they can reduce the points on them to maybe have people actually put them in their deck. I don't think I've seen a single person put cards like Monster Reborn and Book of Moon and Forbidden Chalice into their decks. There's just
I've put Book of Moon in some of my decks, but only decks that are like decks that are kind of like Flew Under Ease, where they've got a starter that you really don't want to be impermed, right?
No reason to. When you put a card at 100 points, you're pretty much guaranteeing that no one's gonna play it. But I don't think that should be true for the cards at 2 or 3 points. Why make cards unplayable by giving them a couple points instead of just leaving
DD Crow
them at
for
0
instance.
for some people that might want to play them? Don't be so afraid of 0 cost Monster Reborn. I doubt it's going to make a difference. Anyway, that was the summary of what I like and dislike about Genesis format. Let's jump into the profile now so I can kind of talk about my list. All right, let's see if I remember how to do this. So here is my deck profile for Exo Sisters, and I will mention that I've played...
Well, that's all the part I wanted to actually watch. I didn't want to watch a Exo Sister deck profile. Does Doug think he can't sell an Exo Sister deck profile without making it like a whole discussion video, like with like Genesis format drama or whatever? Is that what's going on? Stupid. Didn't talk about Misk, but the point stands. Obviously Misk is one of the issue cards as well, which is it should be way lower. It should be way lower. Ugh. I don't care if Cool Tune isn't a tier 1 deck, honestly. It shouldn't be playable. Also, like the tier stuff is usually pretty bunk anyways. Oh hey, it's Elsie.
You truly are a stubborn one.
Tack, thank you for the sub. How you doing? Um, I'm doing all right. I'm just scrolling through the comments on this video to see anything interesting. I don't see anything interesting. So yeah, that's all I had. I thought this video would be longer. Oopsie. Do you see the new set reveals and the subsequent meltdown? What? I saw that Doug did DZ himself did a Battles of Legend video, sponsored by Konami, of course. Fiendsmith reprints? I don't see any meltdown here. Maybe he's removing the meltdown. Oh, yes. They didn't include the fucking manga promos because Shueisha has like control over when the manga promos get brought over. I don't know why Shueisha has control over that and why Shueisha doesn't want us to have them, but for some reason Shueisha gets to have a say, and they say no. Why a reprint of Barricade Board Blocker? Was this one needed? Did this one need a reprint? Wait, it's got the Magistus cards in here, but it doesn't have the new manga cards. Okay. I'm gonna say it. Can we get one of them up here? Oh, fuck. Man, I wish these were easier to pull. I wish those things were easier to pull. I would love to have some, but I'm never going to get them. Where the fuck are they? Pull one of the fucking chibi arts. Pull one of the goddamn chibi arts. Doug. There we go. I think these look like shit. I don't like the chibi arts for the most part. There are a couple of good ones. Abawaku has a pretty good chibi art. But I think most of them like this, where it's just like nothing background, are just really bad. Look at this stupid guy. I'm looking at him. And now we make Delteros! They do have the maid of Endymion. They have a couple of the manga fuckers, but they don't have like some of the manga promo cards. Weird. I love how the game is owned and operated by multiple companies with conflicting interests. It's so awesome that there's like 5 different entities all vying for control over the same fucking card game. Isn't that? It's fucking awesome. Like, man, look what they did to my boy. Look what they did to my boy. They put him in a boring ass back. Like, literally, I think if the backgrounds were better, the chibi arts would be fine. But the backgrounds are all dog shit. So then the chibi art just kind of looks like nothing because there's nothing in the background to compare, like to make it interesting. So like the interesting part about Yu-Gi-Oh cards is the monster, like when they have the nothing background, is the monster itself, right? But then they make a chibi art so it becomes less interesting, and then they have the background be blank still. Like, what are we doing? That's why for Abawaku, if we look at the Abawaku chibi art, but I don't know how to spell this fucker. Oh, I got it right. I actually got it right in one. That's awesome. If you look at the Abawaku chibi art, they made a dynamic pose to make her more interesting because they knew that if they just made the chibi art look like this, it would, although actually the background, I forgot of her background is actually pretty interesting in and of itself. So they didn't even need to do this, honestly. They could have used the stairs, but they decided to make something much more interesting. The issue is Logia, to an extent. The issue is that they just didn't make it interesting. That's the issue. What does the Zeus one look like? Oh, the Zeus one looks fine. See, I like these backgrounds a lot better. If you looked, this guy also has like a more interesting background. I think these backgrounds are way better. So like if you're going to simplify the art to make a chibi style version of it, you need to make the background more interesting to accommodate. That's what makes the live twins work, right? Is that they have that funky background going on. I do like this one. This one's one that I actually really like. I wonder how much those are going to cost. Let's take a look. We're going to look at TCG Player. As always, when we look at TCG Player, I want to remind you that TCG Player are union-busting assholes. You should really buy from basically anywhere else, but I do have a code if you want to buy from them anyways. Let's see here. Dog Magic the Gathering. What? Why is that the first thing that shows up? Dog Magic the Gathering. Oh, because there's a secret layer of the dog from Fallout. Okay. Why is that the first thing that comes up? Why is that the first thing that comes up? Holy shit, we're not gonna be able to find these. Let's just try About a Coup, because that's the only one I want. Interesting. That's interesting, and that's what happens when you search About a Coup. Yeah, this is About a Coup to me. Yep, yep, About a Coup. Let's try a Yu-Gi-Oh filter. Huh. Let's try adding the lightless shadow. Thank you. They're not here yet. Okay. Which ones are here yet? The pumpkin one is, right? Pumpkin. $1. $1 for the pumpkin. The pumpkin chibi is so fucking stupid. It doesn't look different. It looks basically the same. What's another one that got a chibi that would actually still already be in TCG Player already? Is the Shooting Quasar one in? No. Feels like every search function on every website has just gotten worse and worse. It's possible. More likely than you think. I don't remember which ones have been released yet. Did the Utopia one? Oh, there's going to be so many of these. Let's try Orange Dragon. Orange Dragon. Oh, there's going to be a lot of these too. Yeah. Yeah, I forgot there'd be a lot of these ones too, huh? Yeah. Which one? Which one got the chibi? Go up? It was there? What? Page 2. Okay. Oh, here we go. Dark Arm Dragon level 10. That looks so bad. $2. $2. Here's one for $1. Okay, so I don't think these are going to be hard to get your hands on. It's weird though, because it looks like Doug Zeef only pulls one in this video, and they're not worth anything at all. That feels weird to me, right? Oh shit, we gotta we gotta print of Poisonous Viper. Maybe it's 2 per box, but the overframe overwrites it. Maybe? Does Doug say what the odds are in here?
Cards like Tyrus, Keeper of Genesis, and new support
Genesis?
for decks like...
No, he doesn't. Damn. Content creator. I love that Konami gives you an official mat to use so that you don't use anything that might make legal trouble. Why is the cover art of the box the chibi arts and not the extended arts? I feel like the extended arts are the cell, right? Konami of America has very strange priorities. Let's see if there's anything on YouTube to watch. What do you think the boomers would like more? Definitely not the chibis, right? Like I think the Yugi boomers would hate the chibis, right? Oh, an hour-long discussion with APS and Ruxin about the Grandmaster rares and shit. That's just what I want. Yeah, you like the chibis, but I'm saying I think Yugi boomers, like, the main thing I know about Yugi boomers is that they hate the anime, like, art style of modern Yugi cards, right? So it wouldn't, they don't like the fact that everyone's like a cute girl anymore nowadays. Instead, they want the monsters back, right? So I don't think they would like the chibiification of the cards, right? Have you seen the Death Battle Yugi versus Ash? I have. I don't think we watched it on here, but I don't know if I care to. Some kind of Genesis YCS recap? I don't know. Has anyone done one of those? Because I'm not doing it. I didn't watch that shit. Last time I tried to watch Genesis format on stream, like from the event, I just got a bunch of people leaving. I got everyone leaving. Everyone left as soon as I started watching it. So I don't really have any inclination to watch and comment on the Yu-Gi-Oh live streams because they're just unwatchable. They're just unwatchable. What if we learn Nietzsche through Black Rose Dragon?
Black Rose Dragon is probably one of the most classically loved monsters in the Yu-Gi-Oh trading card game.
Uh-huh.
It combines the beauty and elegance of a rose with the terrible power of a dragon.
That's true.
But when I played Yu-Gi-Oh, I always found it strange that Black Rose Dragon was a fire attribute monster. Roses and flames don't seem to go together.
Well, it's red.
But then I realized something important about Black Rose Dragon.
Is that a red soda? Holy shit, let's go!
Its entire purpose is transformation. When Black Rose Dragon is summoned, its special ability allows it to destroy every card on the field, including itself. It's about making room for change. Black Rose Dragon is played by the character Akiza Asinski in the Yu-Gi-Oh! 5D's anime. She's so powerful, the cards she plays with literally come to life, doing real damage in her duels.
Uh-huh.
And Akiza
She's also red.
very similar
True.
to Jean Grey in X-Men. They're both
Yeah, I guess.
psychics with telekinesis and embody an incredible chaotic power without restraint.
So Black Rose Dragon is fire attribute because it's the Phoenix from X-Men. And that's why this is like Nietzsche.
The only way they ground themselves is through the consolation and guidance of a masculine authority, quite often manipulating them to use their power to their own advantage and selfish ends. Jean Grey especially is appropriately called the Phoenix because she is a character that occupies pure transformation. Black Rose Dragon is a fire attribute the same way the Phoenix bursts into flames, only to be reborn again as something new. The
What is this show? I don't know that one.
Nietzsche
Weird.
believed
Why'd you put
that
that one in
most
there?
people try to turn life into something fixed and stable, whether it be a fixed morality, a fixed truth, a fixed identity, or a fixed purpose. But Nietzsche thought life itself was never stable. Reality
Are those AI generated images? What's going on
is
there?
made up of change and transformation, and when people try to freeze themselves into permanent identities, they begin to suffocate life itself. And in many ways, I believe Black
Sick
Rose
AI
Dragon
Bible.
embodies
Like, what
Nietzsche's
the fuck is going
philosophy of
on?
becoming and vitality. Not only does Black Rose Dragon resemble a phoenix rising from the ashes, but Akiza plays a plant deck that revolves around
What is that show? I don't know that one.
burn
weird.
damage, which is a strategy in Yu-Gi-Oh that relies on monster effects to reduce the opponent's life points to 0. Plants embody becoming because they continuously adapt, grow, decay with the cycle of the seasons. They are one of the clearest images of life as transformation, but Akiza's deck especially exaggerates transformation when many of her combos revolve around plant-type monsters, bursting into flames and being planted all over again. And while Akiza clearly symbolizes transformation,
She does have the Phoenixian cluster. That's
it
true.
becomes much more obvious based on the different people she duels against. For example, the first time we see Akiza duel, it's against Sir Ransborg, who dresses like a medieval knight and speaks in a theatrical Old English accent, as though he's acting in a Shakespeare play.
Good people of New Domino, thou shalt knowest my blade and my deck from the attacks thee shall witness.
He duels as if the world were a simple morality tale. Heroes against monsters, good against evil. His deck is made up literally of
This is interesting.
warriors, while he frames Akiza as a witch whose dragon must be slain.
But ere witch shall pay.
Jordan Peterson deck, yeah.
But Akiza overwhelms him because Black Rose Dragon and Akiza don't fit neatly into the roles he created for them. Ransborg treats the duel like a scripted performance with fixed identities, while Akiza represents something far more unstable. In the second duel, she faces a much more difficult opponent, Commander Koda, who specializes in researching and profiling people before dueling them. He defeats his opponents by learning everything there is to know about them, by building a deck that accounts for all their card combos and strategies. Instead of reducing her to an evil witch, he accurately describes her as a psychic with telekinesis.
This girl is no witch. She has the power of telekinesis, which means she can move objects with her mind.
Which demonstrates the depth of understanding Sir
Whoa.
Ransborg did not. But despite this, he still ultimately failed. After predicting that Black Rose Dragon would destroy all cards on the field, Koda believed he had already secured victory. But that exact moment became the reason he lost, because Akiza responded with an entirely new card of her own that wasn't from her past, but from who she was in the present.
A nice spell, but I still have my trap card, Rose Curse! You spent so much time studying my past that you never even stopped to look at the person I've become. And because of that, your life points are now going to suffer for your narrow-mindedness. My Rose Curse is a new card, one you could never profile.
But the duel that truly captures
Awesome.
Black Rose Dragon's Nietzschean becoming is against Misty Treadwell, because Misty's strategy and symbolism runs entirely counter to Akiza's. First, Misty's deck revolves around a specific archetype called Reptilians, which emphasize a strategy of reducing attack power to 0.
I like how 2 of these are from Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro Deck, and the rest of them are like scans from the wiki. So like 2 of them look good, and the rest of them look like dog shit.
Symbolically, this is supposed to represent the Medusa myth, where a person is turned to stone when they look into the Gorgon's eyes, the way prehistoric people froze with fear when they saw a snake or a reptile. And in one of these duels against Misty, Akiza's Black Rose Dragon is literally turned to stone after fighting against Reptilian Gorgon. Instead of Black Rose Dragon destroying the field,
How could you
it
not
is
like random
rendered
scans?
as
I don't
another
know.
fixed object stuck in time. What's also interesting about Misty is that she's a supermodel, and supermodels make a living by perfecting their bodies, sculpting themselves like marble for the gaze of other people, essentially freezing themselves in time.
Are they gay? Hold up. And we'll have to get to this when we get to 5Ds in Yu-Gi-Oh! Tuesday, but like, are they? Interesting.
especially for photo shoots, because in order to take a photo, you have to stop in motion. It's a flashy and structured beauty rather than the natural or transformative beauty you find in a rose or a phoenix. The duels against Misty can feel slow and lifeless because her strategy really does create a sense of being petrified or locked down. In the first duel, Misty spends a long turn playing literally 4 different spell cards, only to finish the turn leaving things relatively the same. After attacking, neither monster was destroyed. Her turn felt like a whole lot of nothing. The only major difference, or the biggest move, was that Black Rose Dragon was turned to stone, which only reinforces the idea of being locked down. Only during Akiza's turn was Black Rose Dragon destroyed, but only destroyed on Misty's terms in a controlled manner. In the second duel, Misty set up a strategy where both players weren't able to draw any new cards or summon any monsters. During Akiza's turn, all she was able to really do was play 1 trap card face down. When it was Misty's turn again, Misty didn't do much either. All she did was attack with Reptilian Servant, which only had 100 attack points. So if you do the math, it would take literally 39 more turns for Misty to defeat Akiza.
That's
It's
crazy.
like the game ground to a kind of halt. Not to mention, this duel took place in a hall of mirrors, with a constant sense of being watched and gazed upon. Misty spent the duel trying to frame and accuse Akiza of a wrongdoing, trapping Akiza into a fixed identity, literally and metaphorically. Because of Akiza's power, she is constantly called a witch, a monster, or a freak, especially when she's dueling.
How did you do that to me, Akiza? What's wrong with you, you monster? But ere witch shall pay. That thing is dangerous.
You've caused nothing but destruction and pain, including my own.
You don't care who your power hurts.
Or is that just classic Akiza? You don't know or care who you hurt with your power.
It shows that real transformation is difficult because it frightens people and makes them uncomfortable.
Is Akiza a trans metaphor? Discuss.
People's initial reaction to Black Rose Dragon is almost to become literally petrified, to lock the world into easily definable categories of good and bad, where there's a clear villain to defeat and destroy.
With me, I'm Akiza the telekinetic.
Well, guess what? It's time for justice. I play my face-down trap card, crime and punishment.
The reason why Misty dueled Akiza in the first place is because she thought Akiza's power led to her brother's death.
Misty chose to believe what she wanted to believe. She wanted an answer, any answer, and in the end, the answer she chose to believe was that Akiza was to blame, and Akiza's troubled past made her the perfect scapegoat.
This was most clearly symbolized with Misty's monster, Dragon Queen of Tragic Endings.
I activate the sorrowful chain trap
What a
card.
name.
Since sorrowful memories, unwavering truth, and atrocious day are all gathered on my field as well, my sad little story is now complete. And I now have the power to summon Dragon Queen of Tragic Endings.
I think Nietzsche would say to someone like Misty, the snake which cannot cast its skin has to perish. In both duels, when Akiza summoned Black Rose Dragon, it was relieving instead of uncomfortable, because Black Rose Dragon blew up a field that already felt dead and lifeless. In past duels, Black Rose Dragon almost seemed too powerful, too overwhelming. But against Misty, Black Rose Dragon is exactly what is necessary for new life and vitality to make the game flow again. That's why Black Rose Dragon is such a Nietzschean monster. It doesn't preserve the field, it annihilates it, even itself, because transformation requires the old world to burn away. Becoming means refusing to let the past become your prison.
Awesome, dude. I feel like this one was not quite as strong as the previous one that we watched. The Foucault's Order of Things. Social media turns us into trading cards? What? Wait. It also has clips from fucking that same duel. What the hell? Oh no, they're full of fucking AI art. God damn. Okay, well, womp womp. I liked this. This video was fun. There's just a shit ton of AI art on here, though. Look at that. Why Clifford is boring, and why Stitch isn't. Why Godzilla is so awesome, and Clifford isn't. What? What? Huh? Astrology of Maduro and the Grand Square. What? Huh? I think I found the best channel on YouTube. Whoa, man. Wait, astrology works. I predicted this. What? Huh? No, dude. What? 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 Wow. I've learned a lot today, I think. What if we learned about Netrunner? We should watch the Kirk astrology chart. I don't think I can.
We have CCG archaeology going on. There's a new treasure we found in the tomb somewhere. Designed by Richard Garfield, who's the legendary designer of Magic the Gathering.
One person acts as a corporation seeking to control the masses while their opponent plays a runner. Individuals seeking to expose those agendas to the world by hacking into the corporation's network.
It had a pretty short run and ran from 1996 to about the turn of the millennium. It was another couple of years before Fantasy Flight, great redeveloper and ultimately killer of many of my favourite games, released it. Now it was really popular with Fantasy Flight.
If that's Jackson, Timmy wins the game here. Miss. Score! Oh!
Of course, it wasn't long until that game was killed too, despite the popularity, as licensing issues got in the way. Now a group of fans have taken up the mantle, producing their own Netrunner sets with...
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, Netrunner is one of the coolest things happening in card games, which is decentralized card games.
Without a license. The question is...
They don't have a license for it.
With it.
They're running it themselves as a non-profit. They're creating new sets. It is a vision into a future of card games post-capitalism, which is really interesting.
The music you hear in today's video on a Game Boy. Can you believe that? Insane. You can listen to his work in the link below. Netrunner is a game that was killed not once, but twice and like Bond, keeps coming back to die another day. It mirrors the journey of the world it once licensed, one that comes in and out of fashion as the decades pass. Cyberpunk. No, not that one. This one, a tabletop RPG published by R. Talzorian Games in 1988. While William Gibson's novels brought the cyberpunk genre to life through books, and Blade Runner popularized it in the movies, this game brought the genre to game nerds everywhere, offering an alternative to the popular fantasy setting of Dungeons & Dragons. The tabletop game introduced the concept known as netrunning.
Has anyone here actually played the original Cyberpunk? What's the plush on the couch? That's his wife, I think.
Hacking into the internet using
I don't know what the plush is.
to mess with corporate servers and harvest their data. You know, the fun stuff. In the original Cyberpunk, the games master would often draw their own personal internet dungeon on a piece of paper for the netrunning player to traverse through. A later revision released in 1990 changed this to an isolated minigame that didn't involve the other
don't know what that
players
is.
at the
I think there's
table,
a
making them
Merrill
sort of
in
sit
there.
while you completed it or continue the game on their own. This was a controversial change amongst players.
I think the
but
blue one
didn't
is a
stop
Merrill,
game
and the other thing is I don't know.
Seeing that corp versus hacker gameplay and wanting to iterate on it, like Dr. Richard Garfield, creator of Magic and many, many other things. He saw the
Imagine like your wife is sitting on the couch and you're like, okay, so I got to record a video. I'm dressed up in my suit. I need you to stay there so you don't ruin the shot. Like either leave right now or stay right there for the rest of the shot so that it doesn't change.
Potential the concept had, and designed a game that captures its essence wonderfully. Or captured because it's been killed. Twice. But we'll get back to that. Of course, it's been a minute since the original game was discontinued.
Yeah, I've never played the original
27
Cyberpunk
years,
RPG.
actually.
I have
So
played
the original
Shadowrun.
Starter sets are a bit pricey. So in the spirit of today's efforts of fans keeping the game alive, we're printing proxies of all the cards you see today to catch a glimpse of the past and future of Netrunner. I did make a bit of an error and didn't upsize the PDFs I downloaded, so we've got
Oopsie.
some mini cards for some of them. But they'll do the job and are
Oopsie
very
doopsie.
Okay, it looks like we've been infiltrated. A netrunner has uploaded a program into this server. Good thing I've broken up and scattered the secret code throughout this video so the netrunners will never get their hands on it to ice break through our system. Don't go looking for it, okay? All right, let's get down to business. The original Netrunner collectible
What's up,
card
Tack?
game was a revolution in game design. Card games of the era allowed players to build decks out of the same pool of cards. Netrunner flipped the script on that approach,
That was a sponsor transition, no? It did feel like one, didn't it?
Purple for the corp. The runners are hell-bent on infiltrating the corporation to take it down, sure, but the corporation is preoccupied with advancing its own nefarious agenda. The runners are like flies you have to swat away, building up defenses.
It's
so you
crazy
can
how
keep
much
them out
Richard
and
Garfield has
complete your own
made that
tasks.
is like that we
The
think
game
of as
allowed
card
disgruntled
games.
employees to live out their wildest fantasies of getting back at their corporate overlords, or allowed players to step into the shoes of big business and crush the working class. Oh no! The end result is a fascinating mix of gameplay and role-playing, one that was fresh and exciting to players. In keeping with the aesthetic of this business-like environment, nothing is free. You want something, you gotta buy it. Players used a set number of actions to do things in-game and earned and spent in-game
Huh. That's an interesting card art, actually. I like that a lot.
currency called to pay for things. It's a constant back and forth, one that was more like chess and less like Wizard of the Coast's other big name game in Magic the Gathering. There aren't many actions you can take on your opponent's turn here, so if you're into a slower paced game, this was an option. Having both sides play entirely different decks that function completely differently was a novel concept, but one that players took to. But it did lead to its own set of issues when trying to scale the game. When you're a new player learning a card game, you can try and learn one playstyle with one set of cards and you're good. But if you wanted to be good at Netrunner, you faced a whole separate
Yeah, you do have to play, like, you have to learn how to play two different decks to get good at a tournament in
The
Netrunner.
best way to beat the other side is to know the other side. So now you're memorizing playstyles.
Well, like, also you
cards,
have to bring,
etc.
like,
from
for
both-
Netrunner tournaments, you have to bring a runner deck and a corpo deck.
both the Corp and the Runner card pools. For organized play, you had to build both decks anyway. Each player would bring a Corp and a Runner deck to shops or tournaments and play each of them. This makes sense, as if you ran a tournament and out of 100 players, 70 brought Corp decks and 30 brought Runners, you simply can't run the games as you don't have an even split. A Runner can't play a Runner and a Corp can't play a Corp. There's no hostile takeover mode here. So now you're asking your player base to invest their time and money in 2 separate decks and 2 separate card pools instead of just one. You might look at today's dedicated Commander player who buys a new pre-con every set and think that's not such a big deal. But for a game just trying to establish itself, never mind one from
especially back then
30 years ago, it's a lot more to ask from your players. That's not to mention the fact that this would never branch out past being a 2-player game. Maybe some attempts to run a 2 vs 2 arrangement could be made, but you couldn't easily turn this into a multiplayer game night. Sometimes it wasn't easy to turn this into a 2-player game night. Maybe you and a friend both like the game, but only like to play as the Runner. Now someone has to play the Corp, if they even own a Corp deck that can compete with your highly constructed Runner deck. I spoke to a source of mine who used to work at Wizards at the time, who let me know that the license for the Cyberpunk tabletop IP was fairly inexpensive as far as these things go, so they had that going for them. But as novel and as well received as the idea was, even with the cheap licensing, the logistical challenges that Netrunner faced due to its asymmetrical nature meant that its break-even point was going to be much higher than other games.
it is a Merrill.
Naturally, it was one of the first
oh,
on the
it's
chopping
a
block.
it's a
when Wizards had to
Nidoran
focus on its
upside
premier
down.
moneymaker.
That's what's going
Just
on.
like Machi's
Okay.
going to be on my chopping block when my
And there's a
budget
Cubone
gets
too.
shrunk. Corporate. The game was shelved in 1999, receiving all of one expansion set and a handful
It's
of
a Jigglypuff,
previously
as seen from
unreleased
above.
cards as a parting gift. Then it was laid to rest, although there was another attempt at capturing the card market by licensing the Cyberpunk world in 2003 via the Cyberpunk CCG, a game I hadn't even heard of before working on this video. One former Magic Pro Tour player, Svi Mashevitz, even attempted to purchase the license from Wizards of the Coast to continue to produce the game. That never came to fruition, but Mashevitz held strong opinions about the future of Netrunner. Interestingly, in this old interview I found, the idea was floated to him of Netrunner existing as a living card game before the term was widely used, where the base set could be purchased in full and further expansion packs sold. Mashevitz exclaimed that selling Netrunner in this way would be the nightmare scenario.
Dude, TCG players are so fucking cucked sometimes.
It's much better and richer to publish it as a CCG, but selling sets is basically admitting defeat. Stop it! Fantasy Flight here to save the day. The renowned games publisher set its sights on Netrunner, licensing the IP from Wizards. But it did distance itself from the Cyberpunk IP, setting the game in its own Android universe. Thus, in 2012, Android
Netrunner. This game, if you haven't played Android Netrunner, is a fucking fun game. Elaborate? Yeah, the guy wants a collectible card game instead of a fucking living card game, as if there's a difference between the two other than the guy who makes money. Like, it doesn't make any difference for the fucking player. The difference is all in the person making the money.
Netrunner was born anew as
It's admitting defeat. What do you mean by that? Like, what do you mean by
living
that?
card game this time, or LCG for short. Something Fantasy Flight had a penchant for.
I hate that Fantasy Flight fucking copyrighted the term living card game. So fucking stupid.
Call of Cthulhu, A Game of Thrones, Warhammer, and Lord of the Rings, all of which did not last very long. I don't think that portends doom at all. This model, however, is surprisingly consumer friendly. See, we Corps can be good guys. Instead of selling cards in randomized booster packs,
no, not the MetaZoo.
To ignite the primal senses of gambling monkeys everywhere, Fantasy Flight's LCGs sold you play sets of every card in the set.
God, it's
no
so
cash.
fucking good.
Players can purchase every card they need to build any deck in the game in one fell swoop. This solves the issue players had with the original CCG, which was the financial strain of having to buy enough cards to make a deck for each side. Okay, that's pretty good. The game itself maintained the hallmarks of what fans loved about the original CCG, the beautiful asymmetrical gameplay of Corp vs. Runner. However, it expanded the concept to further broaden the fight between the two factions, introducing 4 new Corps and 3 new—
Wait, they didn't have separate Corps in the first one? Fuck. Dude, the best part about Android Netrunner is it has all these separate Corps and all these separate factions you can play.
runner types. Choosing your identity type allows you to express yourself even further in your playstyle. Since you received all the cards from the start, nothing was stopping you from experimenting to find the one that fit best. And
Let's get a look at these. So the green ones, I don't remember the names of these factions exactly. The green ones are like artists basically, like they hack things for artistic purposes, which is weird. The blue guys are, if I remember correctly, that's the— oh wait, no, that's they're a different faction than I was thinking. The red ones are like the anarchs, but they're also kind of like a bit of a mafia as well, which is interesting. There's also, I thought the blue guy was this, but there's a not necessarily a faction, but like there's a neutral card. That's their deal is they're a white hat hacker. They're hired by the corporation to test their defenses.
the start, nothing was
There's
stopping you
really
from
fun stuff going on in
experimenting
here.
to find the one that fit best. And if the thing that prevented players from joining the original Netrunner card game was the expensive buy-in, maybe the LCG model was a great alternative. Oh, you better believe it was. The company pushed Android Netrunner hard, pumping out 8 cycles of expansion sets. Each
It had a
with
lot of
6
cycles.
data packs over the years it was in print. That's not even including the deluxe expansions released between sets. Organized play was expansive and highly supportive, with 4 levels of play starting—
By the way, hold up.
Organized play.
Right there. Do you see?
It was
Look,
expansive
that thing. There we go. That card right there. There's a card that references that card in Slay the Spire 2. The Regent has a card that references that card.
Highly supportive, with 4 levels of play starting at the store and ending with the World Championships. In its first year on the scene, Board Game Geek crowned the game with its best—
What does it do? So it's a card. It's a card that costs 5 credits and then gets you, I think, is it 9 credits or is it 7 credits? It gets you a bunch of credit. I think it's 9. It's like it costs 5 and then it gives you 9. So like you have to have a lot of initial credits to invest in it, but it gets you much more. It's called Gamble. So you're putting in credits and you're getting a lot more from it. Obviously, that means you have to have the credits to invest in it, which is the downside of it, right? And the card in Slay the Spire 2 does literally the same thing, but for stars.
Card Game Award. Was there nothing this game couldn't do? LCGs are marketed as a money-saving alternative to TCGs, considering you don't have to buy randomized booster packs of cards you might not even really want. But in the first core set of the game, we didn't include 3 copies of every card to complete your playsets. Sometimes we included just 1 or 2.
Dude.
So you had to buy the set multiple times if you wanted to receive every copy of the cards you needed. Oops. What an asshole. But we did hear the player complaints and we fixed that problem moving forward. But we still sold you a ton of expansion packs. If you want to keep up with the meta
There it is, sure gamble. Yeah, 5 for 9. That's it. 5 for 9.
game, you're essentially forced to keep up with the constant stream of releases or risk falling behind. At 6 data packs per release cycle, that's a pretty quick rate for cards to come out. Granted, MSRP on these packs was only roughly $20, so a grand total of $120 every 6 months.
A lot cheaper. A lot
About
cheaper.
The price of one booster box from any other major game isn't that big of an ask, but if
Because you get the whole playset for the cost of a booster
you
box.
missed a release before it was sold out, you had to wait on a reprint. It's not like you could just purchase the cards you were missing on the secondary market, because unlike a TCG, there was no real secondary market for single cards. And yet the game was going
That's not exactly true.
strong, no signs of stopping.
Because like there's a secondary market for board games, right? And what an LCG is essentially just a board game, right? So there is a secondary market. It's just not the same kind.
Oh wait, it stopped. In 2018, Fantasy Flight's licensing deal with Wizards expired.
Yeah,
and
they
were
what killed the game was actually nothing to do with the game, but just they didn't renew the licensing
able to
agreement.
Come to an agreement. They had just released a revised core set, which fixed many of the problems such as missing playsets that plagued the original core set. They had just implemented rotation into their format to keep things fresh. They still had sets they planned to release. It didn't matter.
One of the early fan theories for the cancellation of Android Netrunner was the then-in-development video game Cyberpunk 2077.
Wanted to license the Netrunner card game from Wizards themselves to include it as a...
Dude. It's okay. It's okay. I was about to get mad about Netrunner dying because of Cyberpunk 2077, but honestly, Netrunner dying is the best thing that happened to Netrunner. So, whatever.
In the video game, a la The Witcher 3's Gwent, also made by the same studio. No such mode ever appeared in the game, however. It's more likely that the Cyberpunk IP that Netrunner borrows from is so spread out between different studios and games it was just difficult to get a deal done. Either that or the thing that kills all games. It was nearing the end of its profitability. Head of Fantasy Flight Studio Andrew Navarro gave his hope that, like the previous game, Netrunner could live on. That the fans would continue to play the game and maintain the world in a way that would spur a resurrection. As if we, the Corp, would ever allow for an event.
Look at his wife in the background laughing at him.
Like that to happen. Netrunner's future is to be forever stuck behind bureaucratic red tape, licensing issues, and overall corporate greed. You'll never be able to experience this great game.
Pretty good.
We don't have much time. Listen to me. We can save Netrunner.
Theatrical. That's true.
Not a year
you could call him fruity. It's okay to call him fruity.
Later rebrand as Null Signal Games, snatched Netrunner from the depths of licensing obscurity and started publishing.
White boy's got a little emotion.
Themselves. By forming a non-profit, they've been able to keep the game alive for about 7 years now. The game is compatible with Fantasy Flight's Android Netrunner series, ensuring that the players who invested in the old game weren't left high and dry with their cards. All of them could be used, which, in a funny twist, meant the last couple sets Fantasy Flight released became harder to find and quite expensive on the secondary market, since they were short-printed on account of they knew the game was going under. But remember, this is a non-profit. Null Signal Games wants to make Netrunner as accessible as possible. While they may not have the rights to sell you the old cards again, there are other, less corporate ways of delivering the goods. Certain FFG-era cards have seen reprints with new artworks and wording to make them more accessible for players. This along with 7 new full releases of their own. Not only can you purchase...
I love that they made their own set. It's so fucking cool.
Every pack from
I've got to make my own video about Netrunner.
Price, you can make your own. Every pack is downloadable for free in ready-to-print PDFs so that anyone can take part in the fun. These readily available proxies aren't just for the kitchen table either. Proxies of all cards compatible with this version of Netrunner are allowed at all tournaments. Yeah, you heard me. You don't have to spend a single bit or credit on this game in order to play it. Of course, it's nice to donate to the cause if you can. And for a fan-run operation, the level of competitive play is pretty astounding. Prize kits are assembled and given out to local organizers for both casual game nights and local tournaments.
Oh, that's
this
cool.
This scales all the way up to national, continental, and world championships. It's amazing that all of this is put together since the team is composed entirely of volunteers. The in-house staff handles all elements of card design and graphic art, although anything they do need to commission is done at market rates. It does seem like this model is a sustainable way of keeping the game alive. It's a testament to the power that the fans have when...
It's so fucking cool, dude. It's so fucking cool. It's awesome. It's literally... It is exactly what I imagine trading card games post-capitalism will look like, except for maybe without the, even the needing to donate to it, right?
When it comes to our games. But I mean, there's still a wrinkle here. Null Signal Games doesn't own the license.
And without the
Netrunner.
sort of
Fantasy
Damocles
Flight
hanging
still
over their
owns
head.
the universe that the Android cards are set in, and Wizard owns the Netrunner name. How is any of this allowed? Truth be told, it's almost impossible to copyright game design. There was once a time when patenting your game, while difficult, was a possibility, but that's since been halted. For instance, Wizards of the Coast patented the trading card game moniker a while back, but were not able, or not allowed, to reacquire the rights after it expired. And while trademark protection is a very real thing, there are steps you can take to ensure that you are covered legally, as the VP of Null Signal Games, Jeff Pruin, lets me know.
I will say we never got any official nod from Fantasy Flight Games, but there have been especially a lot of ex-employees who have been very kind with us and giving us leftover prize support and kind of encouraging words when they can. And we've done our best to, when we can, reach out formally and get some understanding with the various IP holders, because Netrunner's IP situation is actually quite complicated.
It is, yeah.
Netrunner has been something we've gone back and forth on and received different advice over time, so sometimes people see products being labeled as compatible with Netrunner. More recently, we felt more confident to actually go and use the term Netrunner. Rules mechanics are not particularly legally protectable, but text and art certainly is. Basically, every single asset was remade. So every icon, every card frame, like the colors were subtly different, and all of the art on every card was brand new, commissioned and paid for by artists. And so we've done our very best to try and not profit off of other people's intellectual property. So we've built new characters, we've more or less stayed away from Fantasy Flight settings, other than the fact that they're both set in the far future on Earth.
Now,
Netrunner has one of my favorite things ever, though. They've got a living virus called Apex. So, you know how in cyberpunk worlds, they didn't know about the internet as we know it today. And there's always this wondering, why is it so, when you look at a cyberpunk world in the modern day, it's it's so far away from what our actual future looks like because of the internet gap, right? There's basically, that's the main thing, is the internet gap. And Cyberpunk Netrunner, the Android Netrunner world, has a really cool solution to that, which is Apex, the living virus, which destroyed the old internet, and is it's actually a runner you can play in the game, and it's like a kind of like a control stun kind of deck that just completely destroys the corpo strategy. It plays a completely different way than any other runner. But I think it's really fun as this living virus trying to corrupt the new internet from the old internet. And that's their explanation for why the old internet doesn't exist anymore. It's really neat. I like it a lot.
One last thing. I brought you here because I need one last code to install this program, steal the agenda, and beat the corp. But I have no keyboard to type it in here, so I need you to do it. Type the code in the comments now. It's a runner's worst fear and a corp's best friend. One man who can shuffle things around like they're nothing. His name is... I hope I didn't interrupt anything important. But that is Netrunner. Thank you so much for watching. Believe it or not, while I do a ton of research for these videos, I often go into every new game that I cover as a newbie. So I rely on you to help me fill in the gaps, provide additional context, and add in any parts that I might not have been able to cover.
Wait,
so please feel free to share your
that's not a picture of Richard Garfield. It's another Richard Garfield who looks vaguely similar.
I enjoy hearing what you have to say. If you have a favorite dead game you'd like to see me cover, go ahead and let me know in the comments below as well. And
Jackson Howard,
video,
I see.
I have a lot more like it, so go ahead and subscribe and give me a like.
That's crazy, though. This is the second Richard Garfield who looks like the other Richard Garfield. Yummy Garfield!
And, I'll see you in cyberspace.
Jackson Howard. Look at this guy. Let me show them. Look at this guy. He's so awesome. This card is awesome. It's fucking broken, by the way. Draw 2 cards. It's free. It's literally just Pot of Greed. It's literally just Pot of Greed. Look at him. Look at that man. Devious. Devious toy company CEO. But yeah, apparently that was the hidden message, is Jackson Howard. Why is he looking at the child like that? Because he's playing the game. He likes the game. Fuck, this game is so good. You should seriously consider checking out Netrunner. There's an online sim you can use that runs pretty well. Also, don't forget to subscribe to Batchew's Library. That's gonna be it from me, though. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for hanging out with me and watching videos. I'm gonna send you somewhere else now. Where am I sending you? Where am I sending you? I'll send you to Emperor Stove. That sounds good. All right, have a great time over at Emperor Stove's. When you get over there, be kind and courteous. That's all I ask of you. With that said, be kind to yourselves, be kind to others. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye, everyone. Bye-bye. Wait, hold up. I forgot to tell you, no Yu-Gi-Oh! Tuesday next week. Yu-Gi-Oh! Tuesday is off next week, and I'm also not doing a Sunday stream. So, Thursday and then Thursday is the streams. See you. Bye.